Hi everyone, this is a video recording the notebook as delivered for the Capstone project as part of the Gemini intensive course in 2025. I'm not a developer nor am I a native English speaker, so there will be some mistakes, I'm sorry for that. The Capstone project is about identifying the MBTI type of a given piece of text. This is an activity that I do quite often when I work with teams remotely to better know the person at the other end. This project will try to identify the MBTI type and generate questions to further clarify the type if the text does not offer sufficient details. For the purposes of this demo, there is also a function that generates answers simulating a specific MBTI type. There is one detail as part of this video. I will not run the functions because I re-recorded this video already 5 times and it quite often gets into resource exhaustion since I try to run all the lines of code so fast to be as part of the video. That means I will just showcase the output, but please be aware that I actually ran the whole code. The first part imports necessary libraries, installs the Google Gemini library. This is taken from the training notebooks. Imports necessary libraries, also the Google API key. This function is just a retry in case of errors. It's taken as such from the course notebooks. The first request to Gemini is to find out what Gemini knows about MBTI. It's just a simple request with temperature 0, so no, as little creativity as possible, just to find out what Gemini knows about MBTI, and he knows them quite well. MBTI is a methodology, typology indicator that is not very, I would call it professional, as far as I heard from professional psychologists. I'm happy to see that MBTI is actually considering that, so it's not perfect. So I actually appreciate his nuanced understanding of MBTI. Now, the next code delivers the text that needs to be analyzed. It's just a simple text from a website that identified online, and the text actually showcased some details about the writer. So the next one, the next code instructs Gemini how to analyze the given text. It contains also a rating system, low confidence, medium confidence, and high confidence. The prompt itself has also a placeholder, so this is like a template for where the text to be analyzed will be included. This is the rating system because we will use a parsing function to programmatically identify the confidence level of Gemini in the given text, in the given MBTI identification. Here is the parsing part where we define a schema that he should deliver the output in. The two outputs here, this print actually delivers the text given the sense and low confidence, so up to here. This is the textual description from Gemini. And the last one is the one that is based on the schema provided. One could use this to programmatically process the answer up until the point where the confidence is high enough, maybe as part of an agent. The next code defines a function that returns one question to further clarify the MBTI scope. Not the MBTI type, not the MBTI scope. What is important as part of this function is that the temperature has to be set different than 0, or else you will most likely get the same question again and again. So when asking questions, you need to be more creative, more random. The question he generated is this one. Fair enough. The next code block is part of showcasing the few-shot prompting, is where you can, based on the previous question, write in an answer as you see fit. The answer will be appended to the target text, and you can then rerun the analysis, this block of text, and see if the confidence improves. In manual testing, I had to run this 7 or 8 times up until the point that he got to medium confidence and actually identified my personality type. Because, of course, if you are the person answering those questions, the personality type of the text will be less and less meaningful, and more meaning will be assigned to your answers. It's as if you would go to a psychologist with a given initial description, but upon interviewing, the psychologist will find out that you actually have a different personality than the initial text would have suggested. This I've set by default to I do not know, just in case you run all blocks. It does not affect the initial analysis. So it just depends that the text, this is a demo few shot prompting. If you just rerun it 8 times or whatever, how many times are needed, you will get to a satisfactory result. The next piece of code showcases grounding. This is a feature where you define a document or Google search as a source of information that Gemini should use as to answer your prompts. Why would you use Google search for this? Is because MBTI is part of ongoing research, and there are a significant number of bloggers that post new experiences based on MBTI, and it could refine the answer. So based on grounding in Google search, he says that the most likely type of the text is ISFJ or ISFP. Okay, fine. The next code block is a function that was created mostly for test purposes and showcasing function calling, so there is not necessarily valid reason to use this in real life. It just answers a given question as if you would be a specific personality type. Here the instruction says to answer it as if you would be an INFP. So you have a prompt and a question and an answer. This function also prints out the provided question and answer, so that it gets visually more interesting once you use function calling. Here's a demo of how this runs. So an INFP would answer this question with gut feeling and personal values. Now bringing everything together regarding function calling, here are the 2 functions that will be used by Gemini to figure out the MBTI type of the person who wrote that initial text. It's basically the automated prompt that one can write manually here. So here you can manually generate questions, answers, and then rerun the analysis. This, through function calling, does it automatically. Of course, it synthesizes answers also. No, this one does it automatically. So here we can see one run of this function. It generated 2 questions. with 2 answers, and he concluded the MBTI type is INFP, same as the simulation of the person who provided the answers. And one can see it's quite different than the initial ones. What I might add is, by running this notebook, it might take a while to generate this answer. This is the reason why I did not run it live. I got quite often in resource exhaustion, especially if you set here an MBTI type that is very different than the initial one, because then a lot of questions and answers need to be generated until he settles on one MBTI type. That's it from my side. Thank you to all the organizers of this course. It was really eye-opening. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.